You know what I was just doing was practicing One of Us by Joan Osborne, the song I've been learning. So I apologize for being a little late, but hey, I am 3+Kei. I'm just an honest Christian, encouraging you to pursue the smile by prioritizing the Lord, your physical health, and persistent education. Hey, bestie. Hey, Ben. Here we go. Welcome to the Secret Heart Club. Everyone does their part to bring love, be loved. Hey, we love Jesus at the Secret Heart Club. We got it going on. Today, I kind of viewed today through the lens of those commonalities of a perfect day that I was talking about yesterday. And I did sweat quite a bit today. I took a 45-minute walk to the bank. And I was on my treadmill for another 45 minutes. So I got that together. I did not serve anybody today that I wasn't paid to serve. I did eat clean. I'll tell you this. I had myself a cheddar mushroom burger on an onion bun, and it was delicious. And I completed all of my tasks but 3, and I have 15 tasks. So I give myself some wiggle room of 3 tasks not to complete. So I did everything today, except I did not connect with a friend or connect with somebody today. I did have a work meeting, but I mean, basically we talked about the weather. I like to play basketball. She likes to go hiking is kind of what that was. But really, we were in the room together to talk about a client and how to proceed with that person's case. So in the way of connecting with a friend, that didn't happen. And I will tell you, I did have plans today with a lady from church. And for whatever reason, I did not look at my phone messages all day. So we were supposed to meet at 4. I didn't look at my phone messages until 3:45 p.m. today, which shows you how much work I actually did. But I was just kind of thinking about that. And maybe if we're being honest, you know, this is, we go to small group together. We go to like Bible study together. And I don't know her very well. So it wasn't necessarily something that I was looking forward to, if you will. And she's a nice person. Like I want to get to know her, but it wasn't something I was looking forward to, so much so that it was on my radar and I was checking my phone from last night, which is when she sent the text message, and I knew to anticipate the text message, if that makes sense. Hi, Eddie. Hi, cool YouTuber girly girl. Glad you're here. Welcome. And so one thing I talk about all the time is that I don't really have Christian friends like that. I moved back to Montana because I hadn't made, so I was in California. That's where I was saved. So I didn't really know anybody there. And then in Georgia, I met like some friends kind of, but it didn't like stick. And then by the time I went to Florida, I was trying to make friends in the church, but I'm kind of loud and I was going to a really conservative church. Anyway, nobody's really trying to be friends like that. You know what I mean? Like I got invited to they would have like dinners on Fridays, right? You would invite 3 families to your house and you would have dinner. And I was invited to those, but there's no connection happening, which is one of my goals every day, is to connect with somebody, not just to be like, hey, how are you doing? And so I actually was talking to a coworker, and she had used the term sneaky link. And I was like, what's a sneaky link? And I was like, man, I am only really around non-Christians. So if I'm going to be around, and that's what I said, if I'm going to be around non-Christians, I might as well be around my friends that are not Christians back in Montana. And that was the deciding factor. I moved back here because at least I would know people and have friends here. And so now that I've been back, I see kind of a discrepancy sometimes in the interests that we have and the things we talk about. And it never left me, right? I would love to have friends that have a similar mindset. It's like if you're a gym bro, or you're into working out, and everybody around you isn't concerned with sculpting their bodies specifically, you would kind of long for and crave other people who are on their fitness journey too. And so that's where I'm at in this stage, is desiring friends that are seriously on their faith walks as well. And so I've been back for 2 years now, and if I had to call like friends I have here in Montana, like real like connecting friends, Ben. That's it. I have one Christian friend. And so it just kind of, and then the girl today, and I didn't go, and it just kind of made me think, like, what does a Christian friend look like? What really is that? At the end of the day, do I want that? And here's the honest Christian popping out. I don't want to necessarily talk about Jesus 24/7. I'm coming from a position that God made he made the whole universe, right? So like, yes, we can do Bible study together. Other things we could do together, hike, or go see a movie. I'm not really I don't actually watch movies, but like, we could try to figure out what the best chocolate chip cookie is in town. Hey, Scott. There's a number of things we could be doing besides Bible study. And I think that might be a little bit of my trepidation at this point of making friends from church. And it's a terrible thing. And I've been kind of wounded through this process of trying to find specifically Christian friends to talk to. And another issue, honestly, is like, I'm a whole big old grown up. I'm a big girl. And the other people my age are in the throes of parenthood. I don't know anybody that doesn't have a kid or that's not impacted by their parenting situation or whatever, right? And so that impacts how you kind of hang out as well. And I always say, like, if I wanted to like hang out with people, I could go to a bar. Start drinking. It's easy. You start drinking, you talk to, this is what I used to do when I used to drink. You go to a bar when you're lonely, and you just start drinking, and you talk to the person next to you. And the next thing you know, you're in a full-blown conversation and you're connecting. And I just seek that from other Christians outside of the church. I don't know if that really like makes sense or resonates with anybody, but like I want to just go have fun. I want to go, like, life is so serious. Can we just like take a load off and go have fun? And so when I went to California, I worked at a preschool, and I'm so grateful. Prior to working there, I had read an article or something that was talking about getting kids to do things like follow your instructions and follow the rules and stuff like that. And they were saying that you don't just tell a child an instruction one time. Shout out to the parents in the room. You don't tell a child an instruction one time. You have to continuously repeat yourself. And a common frustration of parents is how frequently you do have to repeat yourself, but it's the way that it goes. So I have certain sayings I use. And one of them for friendship, for this group that I worked with, ages 5 through 10. And so I said, a friend is somebody who supports and encourages you, which is age appropriate for that group, right? And there's another term I use actually called preschool friends, because when you're in preschool, it's like everybody, they just like group you together as friends, like say hi to your friend Johnny. And it's like, that. No, that's actually not, it's not your friend. You don't know this guy. He plays on the other side, and they just group them in and call them friends. That's what I call a preschool friend. Like, we're just in the same areas. So your coworkers might be preschool friends, or even at church. I get along very, very well with the people I go to church with. But in essence, they're kind of like preschool friends, right? And then for the 5 to 10-year-old group, a friend is someone who supports and encourages. And that's what I consider the baseline of friendship. And so when pursuing a Christian friendship, there's also that baseline of, is this person supportive and encouraging? And the encouraging part is where you can kind of get a little bit of a hiccup, because if I want to go to that same bar and talk to people, I'm not going to encourage you to do that. I'm going to encourage you toward a wholesome activity or a clean activity, as it is. Bread says, I guess I have a lot of preschoolers in my house. Sometimes it be like that. You're just surrounded by people. And so what makes a preschool friend is that there's no connection. And I don't mean subject wise or location wise. There's no emotional connection either pursued or had in this relationship. One of my least favorite things in life are preschool friends, because I'm just surrounded by so many of them, right? So, yeah. So what does a Christian friend look like? I have one, and I think we are supportive and encouraging of one another. As far as a Christian friendship is concerned, we like speak the same language, like we're coming from the same place. 2 terms that I use are that I want to be kind on purpose and outrageously generous with what I have. And so those 2 are hallmarks of Christian friendships. Scott says Jesus is the ultimate friend. I actually I have a written testimony of how I came to Christ. And in it, I talk about Christ as a friend and a big brother, and the Bible as the blueprint. I'm thinking I'm going to probably print out this testimony and call it the blueprint, because God's way is the best way. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. But yeah, I didn't. Do you guys have Christian friends? And then if you do, what do you do together? And where did you meet? Do you know what I mean? Like, do you read books together? Do you, like, what does that look like exactly? My favorite aspect is talking the same language. So making biblical references, and it's already kind of like understood. But speaking of Jesus, I think he would be the blueprint for what a friend would be like. If you take him and how he interacted with the disciples, like even Peter, remember when Peter cut off homeboy's ear? And Christ was like, no, that's not, like, don't do that, right? Even though Peter was defending Jesus at the time. So you're able to correct your friends. Whether or not they take the correction is kind of like a different story, I think. But and don't get me wrong, I do want friends that I do Bible studies with too. I hope that didn't kind of get lost in that translation. Scott says, at the bus stop, we chase each other. At the bus stop, then fart on each other. Right. You have a good time. You have a good time. When we're laughing together or like working out together, the chemicals that are released, like oxytocin, is the bonding chemical. So when we hug somebody, we're like bonding to them, right? That's exactly what I'm saying, Scott. Maybe not the farting on each other part, my guy, but definitely like the running around, being lighthearted. Because God gave us joy. And if the point is to glorify his name and serve others, then giving joy to others is what we would be doing. And then you're connecting when you're giving joy to other people and they are simultaneously giving joy back to you. You're serving one another. You're also emotionally connecting with one another. You're bonding. That oxytocin is popping off, right? But how do you do that? You know what I mean? I know I'm over here like I had plans today and totally like dropped the ball. And so it should be just like an update on that too. I texted her at 3:45 and she texted me back that she was actually bogged down with work. Like she was behind on her work. So it worked out for her. But the next one I'm going to make sure that I make. And other than that, she asked me to go to coffee. Maybe I could be a little bit better. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Here's what happened. My whole life, Oh, it's Horse. Hey, Horse from Canada. My whole life, I've been very outgoing, very friendly. Like, I had no issues starting in like high school or middle school when you start asking people to do things. I've never had an issue with asking a friend or a potential somebody if they want to hang out, right? I haven't had an issue with that. And then the 3 years prior to me moving back, and I think what it was is I just found myself, people kept saying like, you're in the wrong church. And I thought what they were saying was stop going to church. And I didn't realize it until the church I go to now, which is very like they lead with transparency and vulnerability. I can see now that I was at the wrong churches for me. For them, it was good. They were just very like quiet, conservative churches. And I'm conservative, but I'm not quiet. And so I didn't mesh well with the other women. So I was asking like, hey, you want to go do this? You want to go do that? And I was kind of stonewalled, and it gave me, and I'm just keeping it real, it gave me a little bit of a complex with asking people to do things now. It gave me a complex. Like, I feel like insecure asking a potential friend if they want to hang out. So that's something for me to pray about. And whoever's watching this, if you would pray for that for me, I would love Christian friends. Oh, bye, Horse. I would love Christian friends that I have something in common with. And we're doing fun things. We're like intentionally trying to have a good time. I want that because I'm a social worker from 9 to 5, and I'm a YouTuber from 5 to 9. So I need to be having some amount of fun somewhere in here. But yeah, I mean, I also, in pursuing Christian friendship, should probably, this is going to shock you, I should probably get around Christian environments, right? I'll tell you, church hurt is really real. It really did. I mean, it really did a number on me, truly. I used to be like I'm still outgoing, I suppose, but like more so, and not at all insecure about engaging with other people. And now I'm afraid in these milieus that I'll be judged for being loud or for being, so I kind of cap it off a little bit. And I always said, like, I'll keep trying. And so this church I go to now, like, I don't go to their service. I really should. I know that I should. And it was a sleep thing, but there are some Sundays where I am awake on time. Not the past 2 Sundays. Past 2 Sundays were pretty rough, but even when I do wake up on time, I don't go because I'm not looking forward to the like after church time where like people are talking. That's a me thing. That's a me thing. That's me not like reaching out into the environment to potentially connect with people. I do go to my Bible study, but it's like led. It's like teacher led. So there's not really an opportunity to connect. If you guys have any ideas, I am open. Like, where else would you find a Christian friend besides at church? I thought about just like attempting to create that. I was thinking, I listened to this guy, Myron Golden. I listen to a lot of like Christian salespeople. And I'm like, what am I selling? Like with this channel, what exactly am I like selling? Like what's the hook for people to tune in to 3+Kei? And I was thinking about it and I was like, I don't really have a hook outside of like, I'm that one Christian friend that keeps it real. Like I'm the one that's not going to be like, that's ridiculous that you think that, or you're going through that again. Like I don't hold a lot of judgment for what people go through. And so, and this, I was just thinking about it today. Like, I don't know how to create a space for not just me to talk to you, right? But for there to be a space of like a group of people that are honest Christians. We're not here putting on airs. Like Scott said, we fart on each other. That's keeping it real. He could have not said that. Scott could have kept that to himself, but he didn't, because here in this space, we can say these types of things without judgment. In my opinion, farting on each other's just, pardon the pun, but just good, clean fun. It's harmless. You know what I mean? So I think that's what needs to happen, right? I'm talking through this, and it seems like the thing that I need to do to pursue Christian friendship is at least to start off by going to church when I do wake up for it. What do you think? Right? Like, we got to start somewhere. Mads is back. Mads. Welcome back. Glad to see you. Hey, Mads, what state are you in? I'm trying to see something. Trying to see something. It's too bad there's not like a Christian club, but what would that even be? No, what state, not what country. So I'll start. I am in Montana. We're trying to find our West Coast representative. Everybody is from everywhere but the West Coast, it turns out, which is fine. I love the diversity, to be honest. All right, guys, we have a plan. We're in not just the pursuit of Christian friendship, but we're seeking Christian connection. And how to do that. I'll tell you, I told you guys before, I have this big couch, and the purpose of me I have like an L-shaped couch. And the purpose of getting this larger couch was so that I would have Bible studies at my house. And then an unfortunate situation happened where I realized that I actually don't want anybody in my house at all. But I wonder what it could possibly look like to get a group of people over here that would be like comfortable for me. And I'll keep it real. It's the washing of the hands. People don't wash their hands. And I am like thoroughly disgusted by that action or by that non-action. I can't even like cope with it. Like, I don't want people in my home that are not washing their hands. That can't be a bad thing. That's hygiene. That's basic hygiene. Let's take it to the Bible. Mad says, I'm pretty. Thank you. People say that sometimes, and I think it's like it's very sweet. I appreciate you. So there was a time where the Pharisees were very concerned with the disciples, I think it was even them not washing their hands. Kind of get it. But anyway, the Pharisees were like, because the Pharisees, the way they washed their hands was like this, like a surgeon, and then like this, and then they would go all up in here. That's how they would wash their hands. And Jesus and the disciples weren't washing their hands like that. I don't know if they weren't washing their hands, period, or they just weren't doing the absolute most with like the arm washing and the whole thing. But in any case, the Pharisees asked Jesus, like, why do y'all do that? That is so unclean. And Jesus was like, you need to be concerned about the cleanliness of your heart. Like, this stuff is like dirty going in. You need to be concerned about dirty coming out. If anybody knows what that scripture is, shout it out. We'll read it. But that's what happened. But I feel like that people coming over here and not washing, and it's happened enough that it completely turns me off to people coming over. Unless I know you're clean. Is that bad? Am I not supposed to say stuff like that? I might go to your house, or we can meet in public. But yeah, so we're going to start there with the game plan. This is Operation Christian Connection, where we are pursuing Christian friends. And you might ask, why is having a Christian friend even important at all? And those of us who do not have Christian friends, who have like unbelieving friends, you already know the answer. Because let you say something like, well, my friends can be geared toward lust, or can be geared toward do whatever makes you feel good. It doesn't matter. I was talking to a friend and her boyfriend about sin and how I would preach the gospel to anybody, and it's loving to tell people about Jesus so that they have the opportunity toward eternal life as well. And the boyfriend was saying, I would encourage anybody to do anything that makes them happy. And I was like, what about me, Lakeitha? Let's say I was into puppy kicking. I love to kick me a good puppy, right? So what do you say about my puppy kicking? It makes me happy. Do you encourage that? And he was like, if that's what makes you happy, and I'll never forget that, because the logic is so twisted and messed up. This like, do whatever you want, do what you feel, because so the Christian would say, put others ahead of yourself. Put this person in front of you ahead of yourself. That's the difference between the Christian and a secular mindset. The secular mindset, secular means worldly. The secular mindset is like, you do what makes you happy. And if other people don't like that, then forget them. It does, you keep doing you, boo, this kind of thing. This is why it's important to have Christian friends who will encourage you. Remember when we talked about the validity of our desires? Number one, is the Lord's name glorified? Number two, how is your desire serving others? And number three, what are you doing yourself to move toward that desire? A good Christian friend will continuously point you toward Christ. A non-Christian friend will continuously point you toward yourself. That's why it's important. You want to live for Christ and also enjoy, that's just to bring it full circle. I want to enjoy God's creations. I want to go four-wheeling. Did you know that, guys? I want to go four-wheeling. That's it. Period. That's the kind of thing I want to do. I live in Montana. I want to do all the like Montana things. And Montana, if you don't know, has like a very strong alcohol culture, very strong alcohol and weed culture. So it's like literally everything you do is attached to drinking at the very least. I would like to do these drinking activities without drinking, but have that be normalized, because it would be weird if you were playing golf, for instance, which is frisbee golf, and you weren't drinking. You know what I mean? Because it's like a drinking thing. Does that make sense? Unless you were with other people who were also not drinking and praising the Lord together. So that's my take on pursuing friendship, guys. What I got out of this today was that the first step would probably be to go to church and do the after church thing, like they wrap up the sermon, final worship song, and then everybody starts chit-chatting. That's where basically I need to start things, because I don't know. And then simultaneously, I'm going to work on starting like a Christian friend group in my community. And I think it's tricky because I don't want any of this like hoity-toity, holier than thou type stuff going on, which is what that could be if you don't watch it. You know what I mean? But like good, honest Christians, Christian women. Does that make sense? That's pretty legit, right? So those are the two things I'll work on, and we'll kind of go from there. It's about time to wrap this party up. Dear Lord, thank you for bringing us together today. We've got Bestie and Ben and Scott, who farts on his friends. We've got Horse, and Mads came back, which is pretty cool. Per usual, Lord, it's the nighttime, so I just pray that we all have peace as we get into our beds tonight, that we ponder the goodness of your grace and your mercy that continuously overflows in our lives. Good Lord, I want to ask that you bring good, honest Christian friends to the whole lot of us so that we can grow your kingdom in perseverance and steadfastness. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. All right. Well, I'll see you guys tomorrow, 8:05 Mountain Standard Time, and I'll talk to you later.